SDG10 reduced inequalities.
Sustainable Development Goal 10 calls on the world to reduce inequality both within and among countries. Tragically, SDG10 is currently one of the worst performing sustainable development goals. Global progress on this crucial goal has virtually stagnated. The COVID-19 pandemic and the global inflation crisis have caused an explosion in inequality of income, wealth, and health outcomes. During this period, the gap between richer and poorer countries has grown. Without decisive action to reduce inequality, most of the other SDGs, especially on poverty, health, and environmental progress, will be fatally compromised.
The extreme levels of global inequality are clearly documented. In terms of income, the richest 10% of the world population earns 52% of the global income, while the poorest half earns only 8.5%. Wealth inequality is even more extreme. The richest 10% of humanity owns a staggering 76% of all wealth, while the poorest half possesses virtually none, owning just 2% of total global wealth. Why is the crisis often understated? The official SDG 10.1 indicator, shared prosperity, only tracks whether the income of the bottom 40% is growing faster than the national average. This measurement is inadequate because it ignores income trends among the richest citizens, often painting a far too optimistic picture. Experts rely instead on the Gini coefficient, which tracks all income levels, and the Palmer ratio, which compares the top 10% to the bottom 40% for a comprehensive view.
To accurately measure and address this crisis, the world must agree on new standards. This includes adopting the Gini coefficient and Palmer ratio for both income and wealth. The Gini target of 0.25 is already being used by the UN to assess progress and is close to the level identified by the IMF as optimal for sustained growth. A Palmer ratio of 1 means the income of the top 10% equals that of the bottom 40%. Furthermore, a revolution in inequality data is vital. Most data are infrequent and old, hindering timely action. The international community must increase investments so that all countries track progress annually, combining better surveys with data from sources like tax records to capture top incomes accurately.
Inequality is not inevitable, it is a policy choice. Governments must proactively design and enact anti-inequality action plans. Effective policy areas proven to cut inequality include fiscal policies. This involves increasing fair public spending on universal, publicly funded services like education, health, and social protection. It also demands strengthening domestic revenue mobilization through more progressive taxation and reducing tax evasion. Labor policies must be enhanced, such as increasing minimum wages and strengthening trade union rights. We must also recognize and invest in the care economy to support caregivers who are disproportionately women and enable their access to education and employment. Ultimately, achieving reduced inequality requires embedding equity as a foundational principle. This means applying the Leave No One Behind (LNOB) principle, ensuring the furthest behind are reached first, and prioritizing policies that tackle socioeconomic status, discrimination, and lack of opportunity.
Reducing inequality is intrinsically linked to and dependent on the achievement of virtually all other sustainable development goals. By prioritizing fairer data, setting ambitious targets like the 0.25 Gini and 1 Palmer ratio, and implementing proven social and fiscal policies, we can guarantee action to end the extreme inequality and poverty crisis. We must act now to reverse current trends, revive the SDGs, and create the world our citizens want by 2030.